Pat Walker here with Mission Winners. It is Sunday and once again time to dive into the ETFs and MAXLIST stocks. So here's the IBD 50. You can see that this actually closed down a little bit on Friday on a slight pickup in volume. There's not a lot of power in the IBD 50 at this point in time. Something to be aware of. Continue onwards. Gold miners. Gold miners is just trading flat right here on the daily. It has support on the 21-day moving average line. We'd like to see that start to pick up. Continue onward. Here we go. And we're taking a look right here at gold stocks. It also closed down a little bit. Support on the 50-day, but there's not a lot of power at this point in time. We need to see this start to pick up. What does that tell us? Be careful with gold stocks. That's good to know. Let's continue onwards. Here we go. And we're taking a look at biotechnology. Biotechnology, I'm refreshing this just to make sure. Biotechnology closed up a little bit, bouncing off the 50-day. That's nice to see. Fell on fairly heavy volume here, lifted up on less volume on Thursday and less volume on Friday. We'd like to see a little bit more power there. All right, just for what it's worth, that's important. So what does that tell us? Be cautious buying biotechnology stocks. Oil and gas is lagging. This is a great investing maxim. I taught this at the IBD meetups for years. The air is better above a rising 50-day. The green line's the 50-day. It's falling. There's not a lot of power there in oil and gas. What does that tell us? Be careful with the oil and gas stocks and industries. Move on. Software technology, it got hit. Well, we know on news, this dropped hard. This is really lagging right now. Okay, it's below all the moving averages. Yes, it had a good day, but it's software technology is not in a leadership position at this point in time. That can change, but right now, that's where it's at. Let's continue onwards. Medicine, lagging. I think they need a shot or something here. They need medicine. There's just not a lot of power. Be careful with medicine. Aerospace and defense. Now look at how this picked up. ITA. That's good to see. Notice this, and this is important. It lifted up, pushed through the 50-day, lifted off the 50-day, excuse me, pushed through the 21-day on a pickup in volume. It's near 52-week highs. Here is a very important foundation that I have used for years, and it works. Focus on things that are strong. Don't, I'll bottom fish. No, strength begets strength. Focus on that. You'll make your life easier, okay? We lived off investing profits for years. No other sources of income. So, you had wealthy parents. My dad died when I was in my 20s. No, it was just me. I was helping to support my mom. So, strength begets strength. Good to remember. This doesn't look too bad, but I need to see it to come up here and show a little bit more strength. There we go. Let's continue onwards. Home construction lagging. Not a lot of power there, is there? It's below the falling 50-day. The green line, as I stated, is the 50-day. Really simple maxim for all of us. Strive to focus on things above a rising 50-day. You'll do better. You see back here? Yeah, the green line. Yeah, it was above the rising 50-day. This was bought back here. Oh yeah, it was above the rising 50-day. Watch this. This is fun. This is like going to a candy store. Look at that base. Look at that liftoff. Look at that volume. They voted. We owned that. There you go. Let's continue onwards here. Refresh this and go back. And here we are now. All right, it's below the falling 50-day. Home construction, interest rate sensitive, like to see more power. Not a lot of power there. Let's move on. Here we go. S&P 500 growth. Look, it's above the rising 50-day, and it's showing some strength. There's no real clean entry right here, but it does say, hey, we can look into the S&P 500 growth sector. There we go. That's good to know. Small caps, they're improving a little bit. They're above the 50-day. Notice this. It picked up in volume on Friday. There's no clean entry here, but at least it's starting to show some strength. There we go. I like that. Real estate, this is in a downtrend. That's the 50-day. It started to bounce a little bit on Friday, but you can see it's pretty dang sloppy here on the weekly too. All right. I mean, I'll draw a line for you. This helps. Simplicity is a good thing. What's the line? Oh, it's pointing down. Yeah, it's a downtrend. It may change, but why play the May game when we can find things that are strong already? There we go. Let's move on. Transports, nothing. Look at the daily and look at the weekly. And, well, maybe. Why play the maybe game again? There's no strength here. Go on better stress. It tells us stay away from the transportation sector at this point in time. Airlines related to transportation, not a lot of power there. Be careful. Mid-cap showing a little bit of strength again. Look, it finally pushed back through the 50-day on a pickup in volume. That's good to see. No clean entry here, but it is telling us something. Mid-cap is starting to improve. We like that. We don't want just one major sector going. We don't just want large cap going. We just don't want mid-cap going. We don't just want small cap going. We like it when they're all participating. Shows strength in the market. Oil services, look at this. Below the fallen 50-day, leave it alone. Pharmaceuticals started to pick up. I like this base on pharmaceuticals. Look at the daily. And here's a classic example of why we like weekly and daily side by side. Oh, it looks pretty good on the daily. It doesn't look too bad on the weekly either, does it? Take out these tops right across there. That could be a spot on PPH. Oh, by the way, let me stop a moment to mention our Market Minute videos that come out every day after the market close. If you have not had a chance to watch one yet, last Friday's will be linked in the top right corner. Feel free to watch it and come back after to finish the video. Now, let's move on. Here we go. QLD, big drop down and reversal bar on Friday, bouncing off the 50-day. Okay, now it's not in an entry spot here that's safe. I'll clean and simple and safe, but it did show some power on Friday. That's good to see. Close near the highs. So we've got to watch it. Maybe it'll start to pick up again. That would be nice to see. There was some strength in the NASDAQ 100. Same thing's true with QQQ, the non-leveraged ETF. Strength in the NASDAQ 100. Retail, stay away. Look at the difference here. Oh, that's kind of bouncing up there. It's over the 21-day, the blue line. There's nothing there. Stay away from retail. Don't overthink it. Don't have to. Leave it alone. Silver, that closed weak on Friday. I'd stay away from silver. Done. Steel, it's pretty sloppy. There's not a lot of power here on the daily or the weekly. Be careful with steel stocks. Move on. Semiconductors, look at the difference here. Here's steel. There's nothing going on there. Semiconductors trending up. Look at this. Bouncing here, coming right down to the rising ADMA. Maybe it'll bounce. So he says, oh, SMH maybe, but maybe there's some semiconductor stocks to look into. That's called good systemization. There we go. Let's move on. Spiders, nice reversal on Friday. Look at that. That's good to see. Fell, reversed, closed near the highs. No clean entry right now, but it does show some strength right here. That's a plus. There we go. And that's the S&P 500. Same thing's true with the leveraged one. SSO shows some strength. Solar stocks are hanging in. You look at the daily, and here's the perfect example of why we do what we do like this in Mission Winners. Oh, the daily looks really good, Pat. This is great. And then you go to the weekly, you go, oh, man, I don't know. And it's coming right up to a major resistance moving average. Yeah. Be careful. It's got to get up about there. All right. Maybe it will, but the maybe game's a tough game to be involved with. I'd rather stack the deck and have as many quote unquote odds in my favor as possible. All right. And it's kind of loose here too. A lot of whipping around. So just be aware of that. Something to watch. Continuing small cap still lagging. Not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. I mean, look at the difference here. Here's solar. That looks pretty good. There's SSO, right? That doesn't look too bad. Going back, there's solar. There's small cap. Not a lot of power, is there? What does that tell us? Be careful with small cap stocks. That's good to know. Oil, look at this. Oil, United States oil. This doesn't look so good. Leave it alone for now. That's all. That's good to know. Again, it's good to know what to look for, and it's good to know things to avoid. USO, there we go. Let's move on. Biotechnology, lagging, leave it alone. There's no power there. Home builders, there's no power there. By the way, I'm not trying to be cute and funny. I'm just pointing out, there's no power here. Leave it alone for right now. Materials picking up a little bit. How do you build stuff, houses and stuff? You need materials. It's starting to improve a little bit. Is there a clean entry there at this point in time? No. But it has showed some improvement. We like that. Oh, look at this one. Look at the difference here. It's kind of sloppy. There's just not a lot of power there, is there, Pat? Oh, look at that. Wow, communications. Look at that base. It's right near 52-week highs. What could you do? You could say, well, maybe XLC would be something I could look into buying, or you could click on XLC and look up their top 10 holdings. That's systemization. How long does that whole process take? Gosh, that's going to take close to 1 minute. There you go. We use our time wisely. That's why we do these videos, to show you what to look for. Energy showing some power, but still below the 50-day. Leave it alone. Financials finally showed a little life. It's awfully loose here, but it did improve. We like to see it when financials are improving. And that's a start. Good. Industrials, be careful with industrials, folks. That's pretty rough. When you see wide and loose patterns like this, That's high investor emotions. Be careful. Needs to show some more power. Till then, I'd avoid. Technology bouncing off the 50-day XLK on a pickup in volume. This is decent. It tells us something. Oh, technology, XLK, and technology stocks demonstrated some strength on Friday. Isn't that good to know? Yes, maybe looking at some technology stocks. When I think technology, you know what I think? I think MAXLIST. Consumer staples picking up a little bit on pickup volume. That's nice to see. Healthcare picking up, but man, there's still, 50 days falling. Not a lot of power here. Note the difference. On this line, on this one, the 50-day is rising. On this one, the 50-day, it pushed through it, but the green line's still falling. Not a lot of power. XLY, consumer discretionary, still below the falling 50-day. Be careful with that. Metals and mining showing some life there, trending up nicely. There's no real clean entry, but metals and mining, it's hanging in there. Maybe look into the group and see if there's something setting up. Oil and gas still below the 50-day. The green line showing some improvement, but I'd like to see it push above the 50-day. Until then, leave it alone. Retailing's picking up a little bit. That's nice to see. Software, look at that. In 1 second, it says, I ain't going to buy any software stocks. Good for you. It's not there yet. It's just not there yet. It's dropping. Leave it alone for now. It's good to know areas to look into. It's just as powerful to know areas to avoid. Utilities picking up a little bit, more of a defensive sector right here. Interest rate sensitive too, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay, it's a little bit slower of a mover, but it's nice to see utilities not getting hit. Okay, so that was the ETFs. Now we dive into the MaxList stocks. But first, let me ask you, have you hit that subscribe button yet? We noticed that only about 40% of the viewers on our weekly videos are subscribed. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please hit the subscribe button. It is 100% free, and it helps us get more great videos to you. Oh yeah, the like button, also please do hit that. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Now let's get into the MaxList stocks. There's Apple. You can see this weekly base. This is why I love this template. Weekly on the left, daily on the right. And note how this closed near the highs with a pickup in volume on Apple. Right there. What's it need to do? And there's the volume. Take out the highs of this bar with volume. And I like the base on the weekly too. Nice long base right here. Okay. What is it going to need? It's going to need a good market, and it is going to need good price and volume action. Let's continue onwards here. Here we go. Amazon. Now look at the compare and contrast. You go, it doesn't look too bad. I got some green bars up there near highs, Pat. Yeah, here's the thing that's beautiful at Mission Winners. We don't have to overanalyze stuff, okay, and do all kinds of fancy things. There's tremendous amount of power in knowing price and volume. There you go. Closing near highs. Good, with green bars. Amazon, closing near the lows on this move on a pickup in volume. Red bars. Stay away. That's it for right now. Stay away. Maybe it'll turn in reverse, but I'd rather stack the deck in my favor and look for strength right now. Okay. Alibaba, not a lot of strength there either. Be cautious with that. Google, a little bit of a bounce off the 21-day moving average line with a good pickup in volume. And this is a MaxList stock that can be very responsive to moving averages. Look what it did here. Comes down to the rising 21-day, closes near the highs, and made a decent move. Falls through the 21-day, closes above where it opened on a pickup in volume. Maybe it's going to show some power here. So what would be the setup if it takes out Friday's highs with good volume and a good market? Do you go big on something like this? I'm giving coaching and instructions, and this is what we do at Mission Winners. This was what I did at the IBD meetups for 12 years. This is a pullback setup. It is less reliable than a breakout setup. How do we control risk? Is if we buy it. We buy less shares. There you go. That'll really help you. Good investing is not one size fits all. Goldman Sachs shows a little bit of power with a pickup in volume, bouncing off the rising 21-day. We like that. That's important. Continue onward. Here we go. MasterCard, there's nothing there. Look at the difference. You go, oh, look at that, bouncing off the 21-day. Yeah, I see it's in an uptrend. Okay, good. Well, there's nothing there. I mean, yeah, it bounced, and it may go some, but there's a ton of overhead, so be careful with that. Move onwards. Meta, that's not showing much power either. This needs to get above, and I'll do this to help you. Needs to get above here, these tops right there, with volume. Just clean and simple tops, folks. but it needs to push through these tops and also push through the 50-day with volume. There you go. Microsoft, ooh, that's a drop there. Yeah, it closed pretty good, but where would you buy it? And then this is the other thing. In Mission Winners, we teach this. This is important. We always have a good plan entry spot. What would be your exit spot if you buy this taking out Friday's highs? Are you going to give it all the way down to the lows of the bar, taking out the lows of the bar? Are you willing to give back, what, 13, 14 points? I'm not. Okay? So be careful with that. All right? Just kind of loose, wide and loose. If it does trigger through there, just go smaller to control risk. There you go. Let's move on. Netflix. Netflix has been good to us. Netflix was bought back in here. It was a good run. It's working here. A little loose right now. This needs to show some power, taking out Friday's highs at least with volume. Also note, see the open and see the close? It closed below where it opened. Not a lot of power. Be cautious with that. Let's continue onwards. We're about done. There's NVIDIA. See that base on NVIDIA on the daily? We bought that back there. You see this base back here on the weekly? We bought that back there. I'm not bragging. I'm just pointing out. What is this base called? You know it. Clean and simple. What is this base called? Clean and simple. They're vanilla. You don't have, if you have to look for it, really look for it, you're not, other people won't see it. Look for things that other people see. It increases the potential they will buy also. Remember this. And again, one of my degrees is in psychology. Charts are a reflection of human emotions. Let people see it. They'll buy too. So there you go with NVIDIA. Let's move on. By the way, and there's NVDL. Oh, yes, we own this down there. Okay? And we own NVDL here. And we've sold some into strength. We're in good shape. We'll watch and see what happens. It's kind of loose right now. We'll just watch and see what happens, okay? Square, our block, there's nothing there. Nothing. Leave it alone. And I'm going to go back to this and just share something with you. We don't have to overanalyze it and do all kinds of fancy stuff. It's in a downtrend. It's not going up. The market lifted and this thing closed down. Leave it alone. That's all. Focus on strength. We narrow our focus on what to look for, and it dramatically improves our investing results. There you go. Continue onward. Tesla has a base right here, okay? There's a ton of overhead on the weekly, as you can see right here. Ton of overhead. But there's a base right here. Now, there's also, again, charts reflection of human emotions, decision-making. Look at this. It runs up. They take it right back down. Oh boy, it runs up on good volume. They take it right back down. What does that tell us? Lack of investor conviction in the stock at this moment. And that can change. It can change this week. But that's what we're living with right now. It needs to move above these lines with volume. Ease up. There's nothing there. It's below the falling 50-day. Oh, it's picking up. This is slop and chop. Just leave it alone. Done. All right, team. That's our weekly review. Hope it helps you get a clearer picture of where the market's headed and what stocks to keep an eye on. By the way, don't forget about our weekly top stocks to have on your watch list video coming out tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you're curious about what we covered last week, you can find the link to that video in the top right corner. Remember, these watch list videos are just a small taste of what our VIP members get with the daily key list videos on missionwinners.com. So if you're serious about finding those super performance stocks, consider joining us. Now, I'm curious to hear from you. What are your thoughts on today's market review? Do you have any questions or concerns? Feel free to drop a comment below. I love hearing from you. Thanks for sticking around for the whole video. If you liked it, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And remember, stay sharp, keep learning, and keep finding those winners.